Good morning. Thanks for coming. My name is Robert Thompson. I'm a state senator from Northeast Arkansas, and I serve as the majority leader of the Senate. I'm here today with my fellow senators Joyce Elliott, who serves as the majority whip, and David Johnson, both from Pulaski County.
Good afternoon. I'm State Representative Johnnie Roebuck, and I serve as the House Majority Leader, and I have with me today our whip, Bubba Powers from Hope, and many other of our colleagues from the House, our leadership. As we enter into this second fiscal session, Arkansas Democrats want to ensure that we attend to the people's business to maintain fiscal responsibility on the state level with a balanced budget while supporting essential services for Arkansas families and citizens. Because of the leadership of our Governor, Mike Beebe, and Arkansas Democrats in the state legislature, Arkansas was one of only 4 states in the country to enter this last fiscal year without a budget shortfall. We are also one of only 8 states to enter the next fiscal year with no expected deficit. We must continue that same fiscal health during this fiscal session that will begin shortly. Arkansas was recently named 5th in the nation by quality counts for overall K-12 educational quality. While we still have a lot to do, let it be said that we have come a long way. Democrats believe in working together for the good of all citizens of our state. Democrats have a proven record of leadership, and that leadership mandates bipartisanship. Democrats continue to set the example of collaboration and cooperation. And as our Governor Mike Beebe has said, good politics makes good public policy. We hope that all of our colleagues on both sides of the aisle will join our call to ensure that the future fiscal health of our state and use of the fiscal session is as it was designed by the people, in a way that saves Arkansas tax dollars by running an efficient and timely fiscal session. Let me commend my colleague, Senate Majority Leader Robert Thompson, for his outstanding leadership. Senator Thompson.
Thank you. I want to echo what Representative Roebuck said. Really, over the past 5 years, under the leadership of our governor, Governor Beebe, we've really had a remarkable time in Arkansas. Governor Beebe and the legislature have announced that 28,000 new jobs. As Representative Roebuck said, we're now ranked by a national organization as 5th in K-12 public education. At the same time, navigating the most serious recession in our country in our lifetimes, all while including a tax cut for Arkansas families of $245 million a year. There's a lot of work left to be done on these issues, but we also need to recognize that the fiscal session that was enacted by the people was intended to focus on budgetary matters and fiscal matters in a sound, common sense way. Now is not the time to go off in 1,000 different directions on matters other than fiscal policy, the budget, and appropriations. Because of that, we have the following goals. The Democratic leadership in the legislature has the following goals for the upcoming fiscal session. First, we will focus only on budgetary matters and appropriations bills. That's what the people intended when they voted for the amendment that created the fiscal session, and that's what the legislature should do. Second of all, we're committed to a balanced budget while not raising taxes. Governor Beebe has given us, put forward as an administrative recommendation, a balanced budget. It includes increases in funding for K-12 public education, as well as stabilizing our current health care and Medicaid programs through the Department of Human Services. We support that budget, and we should follow it. Third of all, we need to get out of here quickly. The fiscal session, by its own terms, is supposed to end in 30 days. The fiscal session in 2010 ended in about 3 weeks, so we beat the 30-day time period set forth by the people. There's no reason why we can't do that again if we work in a bipartisan manner and we weigh only the fiscal matters that are facing us today. So thank you very much, and I appreciate you coming. Well, I should say, right now we support, Governor Beebe has put forward a proposed supplemental appropriation to stabilize the funding for the Forestry Commission through the end of the current year. I believe that it's fair to say that we support the appropriation to stabilize the current funding. We don't know the full story on the Forestry Commission yet because the Division of Legislative Audit is still investigating that. I personally think it's premature to start solving problems before we know all the facts. We should get a report from the Division of the Legislative Audit sometime before the fiscal session begins. So before we begin weighing that, we need to look at what the audit investigation shows.
Well, and I concur. I mean, we don't have all the information. We did accept the report, as you know, this morning, and we understand the audit report will be out on February 10th. We'll certainly look at that, and I think it was clear with the comments and the questions from our colleagues this morning in the meeting that we're going to look very carefully at that audit report before we move forward.
So is there still a possibility there might be support for private tax necessary?
Well, there's support for whatever we need to do after we see the audit report.
You guys mentioned bipartisanship a couple of times in both of your remarks. What is bipartisanship to you guys?
I think it's working together across the aisle, and certainly Arkansas has had a history of that, and in this last session we did have some times when we did not see that, and we admit that. But we hope that going forward in the fiscal session and in the 2013 session that we will cooperate and that we will collaborate for what's best for Arkansas citizens. It's not about a party. It's about what's best for everyone that lives in Arkansas.
And ultimately, it takes a 3/4 vote to pass any appropriation bills in the legislature. So we're going to have bipartisan support for our budget over the next year. And it'll take a supermajority vote to pass the Revenue Stabilization Act that provides funding for all the state agencies. So we're Democrats, we're proud Democrats, but we look forward to working with our friends across the aisle in a bipartisan way to pass the appropriation bills and get out of here quickly so we don't have to spend taxpayer money fighting over things that the fiscal session is not intended to address.
Can you give me an example of where you might see conflict and what you would be willing to do to resolve that conflict?
I don't see any conflict right now. I mean, I think, at least as far as the fiscal session goes and what we have facing us over the next few weeks, I don't see a great deal of conflict. And like I said, we have to come together. The legislature, the way our Constitution is designed, we have to come together to solve these problems. And I haven't seen a great deal of conflict, especially if you look at the size of our budget and even the issues that we're talking about in a very cordial manner right now. It's a tiny bit of the overall budget. So I don't see a great deal of conflict coming forward.
And if you look at the leadership in the House, it's certainly bipartisan. We have 54 members that are Democrats, but we cannot do anything without some help from across the aisle. We recognize that, and I think we've proven that we can work together and that everybody wants the same goal, as Senator Thompson said, to get the business of the people done and get out of here and go home.
Senator Thompson, you said that you don't want anybody going in 1,000 different directions and limit it to fiscal issues. Somebody talking about going some other direction, much less 1,000. Is there some non-fiscal rumor percolating out there?
No. I mean, but there's 135 legislators. You have 135 different people in this building with different ideas. I hope that we can emulate the last fiscal session, where you really didn't see very much of that. The only non-fiscal matter that we addressed during the last session was the lottery. And I think, and this time I think there's general agreement that we're going to keep the lottery where it is right now. So I don't see any need to go in any other directions. And I certainly haven't heard any rumors to that effect.